SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man, E. How are you doing today?
I am doing well, B.O.B. I like that for you, by the way. We should just start calling you that. I like it.
The big B.O.B.
Yeah. You don't have your hit song yet, but it still kind of works. That's all right.
I don't.
It's
I want to apologize for the auto-tune for everybody that just heard whenever E started talking, but we're good now.
Oh, I got a little digitized there. Okay. Hey, this modern technology, what can you do?
Well, this is Around the Table with E and the Fat Man. That is E. I am the Fat Man, and this is where we talk about pretty much anything sports related. Sometimes we throw in some pop culture or something. What do you got for us today, or what do we have for the people today, E?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing going on, Bob, the preseason, it is over. We have completed it. The Golden State Showdown wrapped up. We got the finals game that I think everybody wanted with Showtime Bay Breakers going at it. And I'm excited to get the regular season going. But I think today, Bob, we should take a little look back at the preseason, not just the last tournament, all the tournaments, even the Basketball Without Borders game, everything that we have done here in the preseason. And let's pick our five. I think we each get a starting five based on what we've seen. Who would we take based on these preseason tournaments? So you got your five guys ready to go here, Bob?
I got my five.
All right. Well, why don't you kick it off? Kick it off with a guard. Let's go 1 through 5. Let's go.
I'm going to have to go with, for my starting point guard, or just one of the guards, Xavier Pope. It would be, I think it would be wrong to not include one of the three members who won 5 tournaments. I believe it's 5, up to 5 for them now. It would be wrong for me not to include one of them, and it would be hard for me not to include one of the facilitators. Obviously, I could have included Caden Shipp here, but I'm still on the fence because of just the type of player that Shipp is. I didn't consider him one of the top guys last year as a junior, or in his first season. But I got to go with Xavier Pope as my starting guard. I think he'd be a great facilitator for the team. Yeah, well, I can't criticize that at all. Keep in mind, Xavier, too, he's big. That's a 6'6" kid out there. And you put him a point, and there's no reason why you couldn't. He can do that. He's got that Sean Livingston size and game to him a little bit. So Xavier Pope can't criticize, and certainly can't criticize. You could I think either one of us could pick any of the 5 guys who made up that Bay Area Breakers core. Maybe not Curtis London, but Caden Shipp, sorry, Curtis, but that's true. Caden Shipp, Royce Anderson, Xavier Pope, Trey Hyman, 5 tournaments between them. And of course, sometimes they just got down to 3 guys for the 3-on-3 stuff, but can't complain about that at all. And obviously we just saw them do it again in Berkeley, California over this weekend. But if I'm taking my first guard off the board, and if I'm putting somebody at point 2, and Bob, just to enrage you right at the top of the show, I am taking Bronny James. I got to. I think, and look, it's interesting too, because obviously he didn't play a ton. He just played this last tournament, really. But look at what he did. He was, if these games had gone for any length at all, he would have been putting up triple doubles. But at the same time, he showed he could score, dishing, creating. I didn't know what to think of Bronny until this tournament. And now I think, oh my God, he's going to be great. What do you think of that, Bob? Bob, you there? Did we lose you, Bob? I got it. Let me come back.
I knew that would hurt Bob's heart, but I had to speak from my own, and I was impressed with what I saw from Bronny James, and he had to be on my team. I'm sorry, big man.
My thoughts on this are: who would your second guard be? Who would your second guard be?
Everybody knows your thoughts. I will move on to my second guard. I'll go ahead and then we'll trade it back to you. My second guard, Majer Williams, 6'3" out of New Jersey, not committed to any team yet. Do you remember what he did back at Hoop Fest about in the middle of the preseason? MVP type performance, but just overall over the course of the whole thing, he was a solid contributor in I think every tournament he entered. He impressed me. Again, somebody whose name I didn't really know, wasn't really on my radar before this preseason, but Boy, he is now. And I'll be interested to see where he ends up. There's not a lot of room on Gotham 5. There's not a lot of room on the originators right now. I'll see, maybe he has to go a little bit further afield than the tri-state area and the Jersey Shore to land his team. But wherever he goes, he's going to be a problem for whoever he plays. So, Majere Williams, rounding out my guards. Who you got in your backcourt, Bob?
Well, I'll just say I think that's a really solid choice. I cannot at all disagree with it. I disagree with one of the things you said about there not being room for him. One, I think that I think Gotham 5 and the originators would be able to find room for him. I mean, obviously, we've seen last year Gotham 5. They just top to bottom. You had top 10 talent from top to bottom. With the originators, obviously, they had Johnny Baldwin. This season, they have themselves DJ Wagner. Speaking of DJ Wagner, he's going to be the second guard for me.
There he is. Another one who didn't appear in a lot of tournaments, Bob.
Yeah. It should be no surprise to anybody. I'm a huge DJ Wagner fan. He is the number one ranked player in all of SimWorld hoops for a reason. He did only play in the one tournament, and you could tell in that first game that he really, I don't know if he was just seeing how his teammates were going to play, or if his teammates were icing him out because he was not touching the ball. And then as soon as he started to be the primary ball handler in that second game, you've seen why he was the number one player in the country. He can do it all. He can hit a three. He can take it to the hoop. He can facilitate. He can defend. He can do it all. So I think with already having Xavier Pope, having DJ Wagner with just such a threat from top to bottom, everything, I think that would be my second guard.
All right. I like it. I think that's a pretty good call. Yeah, again, another one like Bronny. We didn't see a whole lot. He limited himself in terms of preseason exposure, but obviously in what we did get to see, that's a player right there. That's a player.
Well, I guess I'll continue our snake the way we're doing. We're doing the snake draft here, right?
Yeah, we are. We're kind of doing 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. And we've got our backcourts filled. So now we're looking front courts. We're looking forwards. Who you got here? Throw a name out at me, Bob.
So with, again, how much hype that I feel like I've been throwing around them, it should be no surprise that I have Royce Anderson as my 3. And I think he's as much as I love the other guys, as much as I love Pope, and as much as I love Hyman, because I'm big, I love the bigs. I think Anderson is really the cog in the whole thing that makes this whole thing run. I do think that, again, for me, Hyman's going to get more love in general, just because, again, I think that in order to have a good team, you have to have really good bigs. It's my old school mindset for that. But I do think without Anderson, I'm not sure that Bay Area Breakers during the preseason, all the teams that they threw together, I don't know if they would have been able to do what they did. 5 tournaments. He went to 6 finals himself. I felt like, and I think that might be where my bias leans a little bit on the 3 of them, is he did make it to more championship preseason tournaments than the others. And he did it with it was just it seemed like a random team thrown together. So to me, he's the gear that makes this whole thing run. So he's my wing. What about you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I like your Royce pick. Again, any Bay Area Breaker pick is one that people aren't really going to be able to throw too many darts at, I don't think. Interesting to note, by the way, Royce Anderson is committed to Bay Area. Yep. And we should mention too, we've got recruiting, we've got signing period opening up here real soon, and everybody's assuming that Trey Hyman, Xavier Pope are going to end up on Bay Area Breakers. That's been telegraphed for some time, but we'll see. Royce is committed. But to go to my forwards, I'm throw my first one out there, which is a name that we haven't heard about lately. So this one may raise some eyebrows, but I would again mention we're talking about over the whole preseason here. And remember how this guy started the preseason. Remember, he became a big name there for a little while. I'm taking Gil Blumenstein. Israeli on the Indy Stripes. 6'9", 200, can kind of play the 3 if you're talking about a traditional 1 through 5 kind of spots on the floor out there. And, I love Gil's game. I love what he can do. Granted, a little bit more quiet these last few weeks and last few tournaments, but he's shown shooting ability. He's shown the ability to rebound, defense. I think that the kid's just a winner. Gil Blumenstein. There's a whole Israeli contingent that's in SimWorld these days. Don't forget Dan Levin. Don't forget the rest of the crew there. But Gil for me is at the head of that class, and he's on my top 5. He did enough in that first half, particularly of the preseason, to make his way onto my list. But I get another forward before we go out to big men, and let me throw this one out here. And this one may not make you take the headphones off and walk away like Bronny did, Bob. But I got to do it. Not everybody's going to love it. You know who I'm putting out there? The Yam man himself, Corey Yams, all 6'9", 226 of him. You were just talking. You were just sweet Yams. You were just talking about old school big men. That's kind of what Corey Yams is. He's not trying to do anything too fancy out there, but man, on the block, making blocks, getting the rebounds, blocking out, doing all the things that you do. And I got to say, and I talked about this a little bit even on our Discord channel not too long ago, but I thought that he looked really good out there playing with Bryce and Bronny on that Showtime basketball team. And, I think it says something for you as a player when you're playing with other really good players, not only that you look like you belong out there with them, but I actually think he played his best ball of the preseason playing with the James brothers, and got to remember Shaq Chamberlain and Juka G too on that talented Showtime basketball squad.
Don't throw Shaq Chamberlain in there. He almost cost that. They should not have made it to the championship game because of Shaq Chamberlain.
I understand what you're saying, although to be fair to little Shaq, as I guess we should call him, he did have some nice moments in the entire tournament, although I know what you made with that point there. But to bring it back to the Yam himself, Corey's a little controversial. Corey's not afraid to speak his mind. That's okay with me. I'm looking at his game on the court, and I thought based on what he did over again the course of this entire preseason, impressed me. He's on my team. So those are my two, Bob. What do you think about those? And then I'll turn it back over to you.
I can't disagree with either of them either. We're doing a whole lot of agreeing here, other than that.
We are,
except for the guard that shall not be named that you named.
The triple double machine. Yes, him.
Gil, obviously, great player, and he's one of those players. I think he could play. Like, he might not be athletic enough, but I think he could play the 2 to the 5 because of his shooting ability. And then with the Yams, I mean, he's building his own brand out there. So he's a great on the court, off the court. He is. We're gonna see some Yam shirts in the crowd, I'm sure. But I will wrap it up with my final forward. And again, this is probably he's more of a traditional big, I think, too. But had to move it around a little bit because my center is probably going to be a surprise. So
interesting.
At power forward, I'm going to have to go with. I'm going to let you take a guess. Can you guess?
I bet he plays for the Bay Area Breakers.
Trey Hyman. All right, here we go. We got three potential Bay Area Breakers on my preseason all tournament team. Yeah, I mean Trey Hyman. He is just him and Royce Anderson. I will be surprised if they don't finish in the top 5. I'll say top 10. There's just so much talent. I'll be surprised if they don't finish the season in the top 10. I think they're both in the top 5 or both in the top 10 and close to the top 10. I can't get my words right. There's a lot of top 10s and top 5. I think they're both in the top 10 now or close to it. So I expect them to stay there for the entire season with the way that they've played together. And the good thing is that they have played so many of these tournaments together that chemistry is there. I will be absolutely shocked if Pope and Hyman do not commit to Bay Area Breakers. Could you imagine if this? I don't know. I don't know if there'd be a bigger swerve in the history of the world if Hyman and Pope did not commit to Bay Area Breakers. Is there anything? Would there be anything? Maybe that kid that pretended that he committed to Oregon because that lineman all those years ago. I think that was like 15 years ago.
That was a while back.
No, Hyman. I mean, he's just he's an all around great player. One of
Can't
those
argue with it.
Yeah, one of those traditional.
Can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, yeah, you know what? Let's just move right on from him because there's nothing to say. You can't argue with the Trey Hyman pick. I want to hear about this unconventional post pick for your last one, though, Bob.
It was a little difficult just because there are a lot of good bigs. Had the pickup game that happened last night involving Richard Hennessy been had that been a tournament game, Richard Hennessy would have been my clear starting center. I mean, that guy is just a monster of a kid. But this particular player, I'm gonna have to go with Aaron Payne with the way that he played yesterday, or the way that he played in the tournament. He was just, I don't remember this type of play from him last season. And he's clearly grown as a player. He was doing everything, the blocks, offensively, defensively. I didn't expect this from Aaron Payne. I feel like he deserves to get a little bit of recognition by being as my starting center. He's 6'11", I believe. That's another reason I kind of moved Hyman up to power forward a little bit, just to try and I like my traditional by height. My lineup by height, which is weird since I put Pope ahead of Wagner. But anyways, what do you think about that one?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I think H-Town and Aaron Payne have got something going on this year. You know, Aaron, he was fine last year. He had a nice season. His 16-year-old season. But he's really grown. He looks better. He looks bigger, thicker, stronger, more athletic. I don't know what happened. Boy. Yeah, he's like the $6 million man. He's new and improved this year, and I would expect big things based upon that performance. And can't criticize you throwing him out there, but I will finish out mine. I have my post player, my number 5, and here's who I picked. And we finally doubled up, Bob. Trey Hyman.
There we go.
6'10", 240. And keep in mind, he really kind of from beginning to end. And actually, that's, I guess, that's true of the whole Bay Breakers. That first Sunset Beach Ballers tournament, just a 3-on-3, but Trey and co. won that one. And I think Trey was probably the MVP of Sunset Beach Ballers, and then obviously coming around, cleaning it up too in the Golden State Showdown. But since we already kind of talked about Trey, I won't mention him too much, although obviously, the only one who got both of our nominations, and at two different kind of positions, even a little bit. Congrats, Trey Hyman. You're going to be a force this year. But let me also mention the guy who I thought about, who I almost stuck in here. And if I had, I would have had no Bay Breakers on my team, which is why I'm like, I can't do that. But the other guy who I did think about, who definitely deserves some mention for his preseason performances, let's talk about Henrik Vekic. Big Serbian. Yeah. My God. I mean, looking like,
forgot about him.
Don't let that happen this year.
I won't.
Europe and Serbia's Henrik Vekic, just looking like Dirk Nowitzki out there, really. 6'10", 240, playing inside, outside, just playing like a man among boys. I expect big things from that big man. So, but yes, I do have to give the nod to Trey Hyman. That's my 5. That's your 5. Maybe I could throw Vekic on my squad and we can figure out a scrimmage. We'll have to talk to Ron Yell. We'll talk to Ron Yell about this, see if we can make that happen. Eric versus Bob. It could be a last special preseason event of the year.
We have to make it happen. If we can't make that happen, I think we might lose all credibility.
I think we might too. But but this has been fun, Bob. It's been fun. It's been a whole fun preseason, actually. I know that like myself, you were excited for the regular season to get started. Let's not forget that tomorrow, Monday, Martin Luther King Day. So hope you're enjoying your holiday. January 16th, we are going to get into the official commitment period in SimWorld. So a lot of these uncommitted people, maybe Trey Hyman, Xavier Pope, just squash the mystery now and go ahead and make things official. We'll see where all these people end up. Majere Williams, everybody else out there that's emerged looking for a team, and we'll see if there's players out there who can't find teams. It's an interesting sort of push-pull. You got the coaches chasing the big name talent,
Oh, yeah.
and then you've got some of the marginal people who are just looking for a lineup to get with. But anyway, Bob, this preseason's been fun. The show's been fun. Let's leave the good folks out there with a little something fun to chew on, not even basketball or SimWorld related, to close the show. I'll come up with something while you talk. What do you got, Bob?
So I think for me, so I recently, I don't even know. I think I just had a random Spotify playlist, or they were playing random songs based off of some music I was listening to. I came across a rapper that I'd never heard before that isn't big. At least I don't think he's big. That I think people should check out. His name is Durand the Rapper. It's Durand.
Okay.
And I have what's the name of the song? Still Breathing is the song that is kind of like on loop for me right now when I'm driving in the car. So, and a lot of people apparently they compare him to I can't think, Joyner. So, and he sounds similar. Guess they look similar according to one of the songs that Durand the Rapper has, where he tries to tell people he was here before. They might look the same and sound the same, but he's been doing it way before him.
Okay. All right.
I think everybody should check him out.
I don't even know that name. I will have to. All right. I'll definitely check that out for sure. Well, Bob gave you a little audio treat. I will go with a visual one. And that is, if you have Hulu and you haven't watched it yet, I highly, highly recommend Welcome to Chippendales. Great show, great little series, great mini series. Enjoyed watching it. Actually, just wrapped it up last week. Kumail Nanjiani is the big star in it. And it's all the story, and it's a true story, which I certainly didn't know 5% of the details of, and probably nobody else out there does either. And it just keeps on getting crazier and crazier as it goes on. And the fact that it all really happened is a little bit mind-blowing. But the true story of Steve Banerjee, who founded Chippendales, the male stripping famous brand, and it ends up in... There's a body count. There's multiple people whose lives are shortened because of it. There's money, there's sex, there's drugs. It's got a little bit of everything. Don't want to give away too much, but want to highly recommend, if you're looking for something to watch out there, Welcome to Chippendales. Highly recommend it. Gets the ELAVA seal of approval.
There you go. Well, real quick, since the NFL playoffs have started, do you have a prediction for the Super Bowl?
Yes, my Cowboys going to win it all. That's all I got to predict, Bob.
Who are they going to beat?
Cowboys.
Who are they going to beat?
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So
the Midwest Plains rivalry bowl going to happen. Yeah.
There you go. I don't know if I can pick because my Vikings. I don't know if we're going to go 0-5 in the Super Bowl. We're not going to make it. We're going to get upset by the Giants today. I can already feel it, but I don't know. I don't know about the Cowboys. I don't know about the Eagles in the playoffs. I don't know about either of those teams, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm gonna go with Tom Brady riding high.
Oh my gosh,
riding high. He's gonna win one. Well, he's not gonna retire. We had this conversation a little bit before the show. You think Dolphins? I think either 49ers or Raiders. He's going to be one of those. He's going to be the QB of one of those teams next season.
Yeah, funnily enough, I think that one way or the other, this is going to be his last go around as a Tampa Bay quarterback. So we'll see where he ends up. He could retire, 45 years old or whatever he is at this point. Who knows? But he's going to go to wherever. Tampa.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Bob. I was going to say, I don't like that Tampa pick, but, that's just a personal thing. And I do think, and I will say that, it does feel like it's pretty wide open. I'm not sure if there's anybody out there that I'd say like they can't win the Super Bowl left in this thing. And anybody could. So that's good. That makes for a fun, competitive playoff. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I mean, if the Jaguars came from 27 down to win their game yesterday and the 49ers are being led by a rookie quarterback right now who was the third string, I mean, you don't know. Who knows?
Truly anything could happen.
But I really don't think the Bucs are going to win it, but I do think Brady's going to go to wherever has the best offensive line.
Getting tired of getting hit.
But this was Around the Table, everybody. E, thank you for joining me once again. I think this might be our 23rd episode, 24th episode, something like that. It doesn't feel like we've done that many, but
no, it doesn't.
But I thank you, and I thank everybody for listening.
All right. Get out there and get those commitments done, folks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, guys.